remember the dollar amount, but must have been, 400K or something. I flat ace king and early, and then someone squeezed, and I like back jammed all in for like 100 bigs, which was like 100K.
The amount of likes that you're gonna get on Instagram.
It's
the
not
amount
even-
of times you're gonna get a dopamine hit.
The desire to like do it makes me overcome a fear of rejection.
Did you vote for me? No! Welcome to The Upper Hand. Today, my guest is Miss Marle Spragg. Thank you so much for coming over to Dublin. We are going to be playing a cash game format, 5-10, €500 starting stack. If you lose more than 5 stacks, you are eliminated. We are going to have a 90-minute clock. Once it's done, whoever has the most chips is going to be the winner. We're just going to have a little chat. We're going to play some poker, and hopefully I'm not going to lose yet again on home soil. Thank you so much for coming, Marles.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
All right, Tibby, you can shuffle up and deal.
Thank you.
Marles, I wanted to start by talking about the content that you've been making lately. And I just want to first of all say that I personally genuinely think that you are the very best that does it by a long way. But I was going through your Twitter and I found one quote that said, "Every single day I battle anxiety, imposter syndrome, just to get the content made, and it doesn't seem to be getting any easier." And I just want to know, is it getting easier? Because you're posting way more than you ever did.
Yeah, well, first of all, I raise. And yeah, it is in a sense.
Marles must have a super strong hand because she's like, yeah, I have no problem. We can talk about anything, open book. And straight away she's like, I am dialed in. I call. Check.
I'm trying to articulate.
No, that's okay.
Well, I put it in. I check too.
The only reason I ask is because I also seen another tweet from last year where you were very proud of yourself, and rightly so, that you'd posted 40 pieces of content in the year, having aimed for 1 piece per week.
Yeah.
But it feels, now I could be wrong, but it feels like this year you've been much more consistent. It feels like you've posted 40 pieces of content in the last 2 months to me. Like you've been banging out fantastic content day after day. And I'm just wondering, like, what has changed that it's made it easier, or has it made it easier, or does it just appear that way from the outside?
Yeah, I think.
Let her get her toss together and then just bet pot.
Damn. Well, I guess I fold. I have queen high.
I would not bluff. Just nice and honest first hand.
Wow.
Some honest poker.
That's huge. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely hasn't gone away. I still battle with it, but I guess like the biggest thing is I'm doing this little self-challenge right now where I'm posting 1 video a day.
So you are posting way more. It feel like that's what it felt like.
Only for the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
I've been doing 1 a day. Nothing. They're simple and like very low budget, but I guess like the key for me is not giving myself time to like think.
Yeah.
Because when I start to think about if an idea is good or if I like it, or
Do you ever block make them, or is it every single day you sit down and you make a new video, or would you have a day where you say do 7 and then don't make them for a week?
Every single day I wake up and I have no idea what I'm gonna make. I have endless ideas in my notes folder.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll just come to me. Like I made this one in London about the massage, getting a massage when you're all in.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
It was very good.
And I literally I said that at the table and everyone laughed. And I was like, oh, this is like funny to people.
So is that where, do you always get the inspiration from playing poker, or is there people in the poker world or even outside that you look towards? Or is it just random and you see it and it comes to you?
I try to like work off my own experience. I feel like when when I get a little bit desperate, I
feel like every time you go quiet, but I was wrong last time. My read was way off. I call.
I'm just bad at multitasking. I'll get better as the game goes on, I promise.
It's a big pot.
I
should have taken this into consideration. Everybody else I've played against so far, there's been like no 3-bet pots. This is your first big blind, and you're like, yeah, we're going to war. How much is that? We started with 500.
140.
Your husband came here and wiped the floor with me 5-0, so I'm a little bit concerned if I get bust early doors. 140. Okay, I call. It's a big pot,
That
Marle.
seems strong. That seems strong. What do I have here?
Parker told me that Parker said that I'm the biggest live tell box, so you're probably on the ball.
Don't listen to Parker. He makes up tells in his own mind. I'm all in.
I can't fold. I've got top pair. I call. Do you have it? Do you have it?
Sure.
Oh my god! I don't believe this.
This is a great deal.
This is so,
Where'd you find this guy?
is so fucked up.
This is a great
Tibby,
deal.
what did we say about when you laugh at me? Tibby, I've got 2 pair. No, that would have been that would have been fantastic if I was actually
great.
slow rolling you.
It would be great. But yeah, with the content, for me, it's just like, I want to know if it'll work so badly. It's just like this need for control. And so I have so many ideas in my notes folder, things will happen, and I just like won't make them because I'll be like, I don't know if it's, I want to know it's going to like bang, you know, which is such an unrealistic expectation.
So do you think does that come from like wanting validation or just wanting to do it well? Like, do you care about it from a point of view of it, like people like, oh my God, Marley's so good at that? Or is it just like, I've put the time and effort in, I want it to be good?
I fold actually. I just like don't like I don't like rejection. Like it just feels bad to like put yourself out there and bomb.
You've been doing it for like you were an actor before. You're a poker player, right? So like you've been doing something like poker. You mostly lose. Content creation's not going to always go well.
Mostly,
acting, so it feels like you're putting yourself in like tough spots then.
It is, yeah, and it's just like I've set these expectations for myself. But as far as where I get my ideas from too, I try to work off myself because I call.
Do you know what's so funny? I was like, we'll do cash games. We won't end up all in that quickly.
Sure.
I've won them too. All right.
Then you're good. Oh, shit.
All right. We'll chop it up. If I lose this one, you're truly sacked to be. All right, we'll chop it up. All right, all in, chop it up. We keep our 80 quid.
When you said you have one too, I was like, oh, GG me.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I just feel like that's where I just like get the best stuff, and it feels more authentic. Like it's really hard for me to try to guess what the casual poker player finds funny. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like it feels just impossible, but I know what I find funny. So all I can do is like go from that. And
Do you want to appeal to the casual poker player? I have 10 big blinds here, right?
oh, I
I'm
forgot that you're
like,
so short. I'm not paying attention.
No, I'm just making sure. Yeah, I'm all in.
Fuck.
Love this. Marles was thinking about content, and I'm thinking about getting back in a game.
I literally have this.
It's up to you. By the way, so disrespectful to raise that hand in the first place, even if you taught out 500 quid.
I know. I folded last time I had a very similar hand, so I was like, fuck, I'm going to open it this time. I'm going to give you a donation.
It's going to be a donation.
Sure.
Damn it. That's what I was afraid of. One time.
If you win this one, I'll actually be quite upset. Like, I don't get upset playing poker too often. I actually, do you know what?
Backdoor?
No. Your clip about the guy who doesn't get tilted, I felt personally attacked.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, I don't get tilted. And then like you had the clip that nailed me. I was like, oh, I don't believe this. Did you ever come close to quitting with content creation if you want to do it well so often? Like, do you ever get caught up in perfection? Or has it always been, it's just what you do, I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter if I do get rejected ultimately, even though in your head you don't want it.
Oh, and that's what pulls me back every time. Is that the desire to like do it makes me overcome my desire by fear of rejection, you know?
Yeah.
So
there's
ultimately that's stronger.
Yeah.
But the fear is just always there.
Okay.
And that's like now every day I wake up and I think of an idea and I don't judge it. The daily videos helps me like not judge the idea and just be like, here's an idea, seems halfway interesting. I'm just gonna make it without judgment. Check.
Are you often correct with your guesses because you say you wanted to make sure that it's really good? Like, do you often get it right that, oh, this is good, and it ends up being like one of your better videos, or is it hard to predict? Or do you know when you've done something really funny? Like, are you laughing at home with Benj and you're like, oh, this is going to bang, and then it bangs?
I would say I know when I'm like not feeling it. I know when like the video didn't come out quite as I hoped it would, and I'm kind of not feeling it. But I've been like pleasantly surprised. Like, one of my most popular ones, people come up to me the most, be like, oh, the video was the poker relationship one, which I thought would bomb, because there aren't that many poker relationships, right?
But the thing about it is that I would argue is that even though it might say poker relationships, it'll be relatable to people in any relationship. It doesn't have to be a poker relationship. They'll see similarities in the way. All right, we got to work out how much we have here, Tibby, because I'm not used to the cash game. Okay, we got 150. I guess we're all in again.
I got
Oh my god. Okay, this time I'm in trouble this time.
hockey sticks. All right.
Is that like 15 big blinds cash game? I don't know, man. I'm scared. Marle's is going 1-0 up in Dublin. Did Deuce on the river? No spades, eh? Tragic carry on. Oh, Tibby.
Oh,
my
dagger.
man. Tibby, that's the first time you've ever let me put out a bad beat on anyone, I'm pretty sure.
Scum run.
Man, I fought so hard to get the expression scum run going. I was watching several episodes of podcasts you did over the years. Started with like a Joey Ingram one from 4 years ago. I watched an Only Friends one from last year, and I listened to your cards chat. And one thing that seemed to come up repeatedly, you're asked about an end goal. It was kind of when you burst on the scene, but they're asking you what you would ultimately like to do. And you mentioned multiple times a poker pilot, I believe. Is that still something that's on the mind, or has that like disappeared over the course of 25? Over the course of the last couple of years? Like, do you still feel like there could be a sitcom that was poker related, or is that like kind of past?
Honestly, I think that's kind of subsided a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I was kind of, I don't know. I was kind of just in this really bad, before I started posting every day recently, I was kind of in a bad headspace creatively. Okay. Just overthinking it and being kind of like in my head. And so I don't really know. I'm just happy that I'm like back in the creative flow now. What
does it look like when you sit down to write a video? Like, do you go somewhere? Do you just write at home? Do you run it by Benj? Like, what kind of ways do you do it?
I have like a bunch of ideas. I've had that bubble video that I put out a few days ago, written for like a year and a half. I just never made. I just have a bunch of stuff, and now it's just like I wake up every day and I just pick one and I just make it and then I just put it out. And once I like just go with the idea, I'm pretty good at just like banging out the script pretty quick.
Have you got a script like written kind of word for word, or do you kind of freestyle it a little bit?
I write it word for word, and then almost every time it changes a little bit, because once I see the flow of the video, I'll just change it because the pacing is wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. But I guess it's just, you just gotta be okay with just bombing all the time, you know.
But it doesn't bomb. Like, you've been very successful, particularly on Twitter. Like, because I scrolled through like most of your tweets in the last few days, and like most of them seem to hit like over 100K views, and like some of them are like up to 250,000 and some higher, and like that's pretty massive in the poker space. You know, like I understand if you like move into other levels of like entertainment, it might be like kind of small. Poker's so niche, like those numbers are huge. So like, I don't think it bombs a lot. 100.
I fold.
Do you ever? I know that one thing that you talked about a huge amount on the podcast I listened to was when you absolutely burst on the scene. And one of the videos that I watched was how I bust my poker bankroll, which was the most views that you've ever gotten a YouTube video. But that has a huge amount of views. And the intro that you did for that was like a full 90-second skit.
Yeah.
And it was extremely high effort. Like you were in all different locations, you were in different card rooms, you put so much effort into it. And then I heard you talking about those vlogs, saying that you felt that they were all a copy and paste of each other. But I don't think what you were doing was like anywhere near a copy and paste. Like I thought that you were doing something completely different, and then they just abruptly stopped. Do you think they'll ever come back, or are they gone? Like that long form?
I think what I meant more from the copy and paste is more just because that was like little skit was kind of rare, but I made a bunch of just like hand history vlogs.
Okay.
I made like probably 30, 35 just like hands, and there, I would do some bits in there and like try to mix it up, but like check. But it was just a lot of me trying to just do the traditional Brad Owen style.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard when you're in a space to not do what works. But I watched a few, and then maybe it was that your best performing ones were the ones where you had done a lot of skits, because the ones I've seen mostly had skits in them.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a little bit different, but I guess
again, maybe it did come off as different, but I guess my process at the time was like to mimic.
Okay.
Like when I would go to make, you're talking about like actual process. Now, when I sit down to write, I'm never thinking, okay, what's Brad doing? Okay, what's Spragg doing? Oh, okay, let me go on TikTok and like copy somebody. It's always
something.
What happened in my life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what do I think is funny? What have I logged in my data bank as like, it's funny, you know?
150.
We're playing way more serious pots than I thought we would. Like pretty much every pot has been large.
I know.
I'm trying not to talk too much this time. Parker told me I'd give it all away. And you've played so many more live hands than me.
Do we have to show? Should we show one?
We can show both if you want. I don't mind. Like it doesn't bother me. I'm used to streaming. So like if you want to know, I can tell you. I had a deuce in my hand. That's a promise. But I also had a jack. So don't worry. Since you've moved over to the UK full time, you've been traveling obviously to the vast majority of the EPTs. But the happiest I've ever seen you, of all the photos that I ever looked at, and it's the happiest I also saw Benj, was when you won the South Point Nightly.
Yeah.
So is that more fun than playing EPTs?
Which time? I want to try.
The second time.
No.
I raised. It was the second time.
100.
I did this one for the memes. It was like the anniversary of this hand lately, wasn't it? I feel like it's bang on as well. But yeah, it was the happiest I've ever seen you in that photo. Spraggy smiled less when he won the UKPT Brighton than he did when you won the South Point Nightly for 4,900, I think it was. But like you guys look genuinely shoved. Is that where you got your start, playing that particular tournament, or is it?
No, I didn't play tournaments really at all until.
We raised 25.
Honestly, until really like COVID, until Spraggy got me into tournaments, kind of.
Yeah.
I would play some WSOP events, a couple, but I just like mainly played cash, and then I got into this like big nosebleed cash game right when I started
I
my
was
blog.
watching that content, and
Yeah.
I hope you don't take this disrespectfully, but when you talk poker down compared to now, like you're clearly so much better now.
Oh.
So like I can't imagine like how it would have felt for someone, like you felt. Were you quite new to poker at the time? Like to be playing that high?
Oh, yeah, it's
Like,
totally out of my depth. Yeah.
It's just like you were.
I mean, it's just crazy.
You were talking, I think, about. You were talking with Berkey on his podcast.
Only raised 25.
I think about playing. Was it 3,600 you were playing?
Yeah.
And I was just like, that is so insane to me. And he was just saying, yeah, I just sat down, got a whiskey, cracked on, and then like you won on your first night, right? You won like $13,000 or something.
Yeah.
But like I don't get like nervous playing poker too often, but playing where you buy in for $100,000, like I know it wasn't like your money, but it also like was a real opportunity to win boatloads of cash.
Oh,
So-
life-changing for me.
How, first of all, do you miss playing that high? And secondly, how did you play that high and then just go grind 2-5? That's what I was when I was watching that last night. I was watching that exact podcast when you were talking about it, and I was like, how could you play so high? And then it's like playing EPT high rollers and then playing the big 11, which I guess is what Spragg does, but it's pretty crazy to me. I checked, sorry.
15.
Marle, 15.
It was crazy. I definitely I was not a good player in general, but check. But
I'm guessing though, if you're getting into that game, there was also a few players who weren't top pros.
no, it was very good.
It was a good spot.
It was actually, honestly, it was arguably softer than a 2-5 game. It was very soft. A very good game, very lots of action, and just an amazing game. But
Do you want to see every time? Is that what you want?
no,
Okay.
the money definitely got to me.
Did it? Yeah.
I was staked, but I was on a free roll. But
Okay.
even the 20% free roll in that game is just life-changing money, right? From especially me at the time.
It's absolutely insane to anybody, really.
And so I definitely just I was just in a lot of no-brainer spots. I remember one time I played this very standard hand where I flatted ace king.
Check. Fin check.
I flatted ace king in early, and then someone squeezed, and I back jammed all in for 100 bigs, which was 100K. And I was and the guy had aces, and I lost. And I for the whole night I was asking, do you think that's bad? And they were like, dude, this is 2-5. You wouldn't even think that's the most standard spot ever. But I was just so, it just gets to you, you know what I mean? It just gets to you.
Was that the biggest spot you ever played?
No.
Fin four.
The biggest spot I ever played was a three-way, it was a four-way all-in. I had queen jack of spades on queen 7-3, 2 spades against sevens, king 9 of spades, and and the other guy put in half a stack and then folded.
Okay.
Some goober.
Not a great spot.
It wasn't great, but I had top pair and flush
No.
draw. and just,
I'm not saying you should fold it. Or
No,
anything like that.
but just the way, yeah. And I talked about this hand publicly. Farrah Galfon was one who had sevens and won this insane hand. Just
Did you say how much it was? Sorry, did I catch you?
I don't even remember the dollar amount, but must have been,
You were just in the daze.
400K or something. And then I remember,
I fold.
but I don't miss it because we were talking about earlier. I feel like I'm really a lot less degen now.
Okay.
And I just enjoy playing tournaments and making stuff.
I know that your dad loves poker.
Yes.
How did he feel when you were playing in these monster cash games? Did he know to the extent that you were playing in them? I understand that you would have told him that, look, I'm backed, I'm staked, but it's all well and good telling a parent you're backed and then telling a parent that you lost a house in a pot. It's I lost 400K, which probably could buy some house in Vegas somewhere.
I know.
Race.
Interesting.
Did he ever talk to you about it, or was it weird to see his daughter?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how he perceived that. I guess he thought it was crazy. Check. So when I went to PCA before I met Benj, this is in 2018 or 19 maybe?
Was it the big one?
The big one, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was 2019.
Yeah, and I was playing cash on a yacht the whole time in the same game. Was running the whole. I was down. I played the 25K, but then I played cash on a yacht the whole time.
I mean, I know that you're saying you don't miss it,
It was wild.
but
It was wild.
you
Yeah.
probably were getting served drinks, all that. Jazz.
Famous people there and crazy stuff that happened. And my dad actually lived in Tampa at the time.
Okay.
Oh wait, what am I thinking of? Oh no, because I played another yacht. I played another yacht with Randall. I mean, it's people know. Check.
So
And my dad.
How many yachts have you played poker?
And my dad came on the yacht that time.
Oh, your dad. That's so cool.
That's what I'm talking. Yeah. So he met them, and it was really cool.
Fin bet. 100.
This was in Florida. Call.
100.
Check.
100 check.
All in.
Fin goes all in.
That was a dicey one, Miles.
Dice.
Dicey one. So you're on the yacht. You're playing
But,
poker.
yeah.
Are you playing the same stakes? Like you're playing 100K pots on a yacht?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It would be different sometimes, straddle or whatever, but
Does Benj ever bring you to play on yachts and play high stakes poker?
no.
Not Benj's style, no? Was it your dad that taught you to play poker?
Did I what?
Did your dad teach you to play poker?
Yeah.
Yeah? I just think it must be so cool because I know that you played the tag team together. I know that you played the South Point Nightly together.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see your daughter playing in the highest stakes in the world.
No, I think he does think it's exciting, for sure.
Did he have any words when you decided, or did you even tell him that you were going to start playing full time, or did it all kind of happen so quick that like you were now? Because like I was so young when I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to play poker full time. I was 20. She was like, no, you're not. You're going to finish college. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then I did 1 year reluctantly, and I just couldn't continue. So maybe slightly different because you were a little bit older when you went full time, right?
Yeah, and he's just always been I'm really lucky that he's just always been super supportive of whatever. He, of course he was a little bit like, you could do anything.
Yeah.
Why did you want to do this? Like go be a doctor or something. But at the same time, like I support you no matter what.
Yeah.
I told a story before, but when I made that first video about, like building my bankroll.
Oh, I never even thought about that because obviously like it was complete
Yeah.
satire. And I know that you actually got like a lot of fight back from women in particular, which I thought was ridiculous, but it's not it's their opinions. But I never even thought from your dad's point of view of like, he sees this video, like it blows up.
Yeah.
Like if he's in any way in the poker world, like you were, like everyone was talking about you. Like you just went from not being in the poker scene, like, when it comes to media wise, to like being the only person anyone was talking about. Like, what was that, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
5.
5 years ago, yeah. So like he saw that video, obviously.
Well, not only that,
Right,
but when I was thinking about making that video, I had the idea and I literally called him. I was like, I'm thinking about making this video. Do you think this is funny? And he was like, yeah, it's funny, but he's like, don't actually do that because it's like a crime, because I don't want you to like get,
Please stay away from the men's bathrooms while you're trying to get a poker stake.
Yeah. He's like, I know you're doing it as a bit, but don't actually go. Because at first I was gonna walk up to legit strangers in the strip and just like do it as a bit.
But it was pretty, like, even though like I genuinely think it was amazing, and I think some of the bits that you did were so good. But like, I wouldn't be brash enough to like point camera at people and like make the joke, Whereas like you just absolutely went for it.
Yeah, I went for it. I was an absolutely insane human being back then. Great.
Would you ever? I know that you probably might not the exact same content, but that content
I think it's always me. Yeah.
was like it was super high effort, right? And you had to like go around to the different venues and stuff. Like, would you ever try and incorporate that into like what you're doing now, or do you think just like kind of volume is more important? So like getting it out, getting it done constantly. Sorry, check.
I would do stuff like that. I mean, I don't think I would make stuff quite as like risque now. I don't know. Maybe I would, but
When you say risque, like, do you mean just the jokes about like getting with guys, or do you just mean the whole like edginess?
I get the subject matter. Not that I regret it. It was amazing, but I definitely wouldn't. Yeah, I was like showing people's faces too in the videos and stuff, and just kind of doing stuff that wasn't necessary that I probably wouldn't do today.
Check.
Check.
Queen high. Well, 2 pair plus queen high.
You win.
Well,
Yeah.
I've almost got you on the ropes.
You do.
I almost have you
Not
on the
almost.
ropes here.
Not almost.
I feel at the moment you're doing something that nobody else in poker is doing with the kind of content you're making. I know there's a few people that are making some memes, like Greg Goes All In does like some stuff like that. So I guess maybe not the only one, but one of the only people. And I don't think it's a bad thing to take risks. I know that it can be a little bit tougher once you're sponsored. But I feel like if you get a good idea like that, you should still do it personally. Right? But then I say that, and I definitely sit on my stream and don't
Yeah.
say certain things that are coming to mind. You know.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough, but also trying to. The stuff I've been making lately is like very rated G.
Okay.
And it's like being a clean comic, right? It actually kind of makes you stronger in a way where you have to.
You can't
force
just like
yourself.
have the cheap punches.
Right.
Like, you know it will get a laugh, but it's like it's not really hard to come up with. Right?
It's just a different skill. Like I like that stuff, and honestly, most of the content I watch
It's absolutely
is absolutely
deranged.
filth.
Sorry, I didn't realize that I was on the button here. I'm checking back A side boards and folding queen high. You mentioned comic because one thing that you said to me not too long ago was the stories that you post on Instagram. Correct me if I'm calling this back wrong. Are somewhat like open mics as a comic where you try things. If you get good feedback, there's not as much pressure because no one sees the numbers, no one sees the DMs. You just know whether it's working or not.
Yeah.
So have you ever actually considered doing stand-up comedy to like
I've done it.
You've done it?
Yeah.
When?
In New York, I did open mics and bringer shows, they call them.
This is prior to even poker.
I knew how to play poker, and I would but I was young.
In base 100.
I'm playing way too aggressive. I'm not letting you chat. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm finding multitasking a little harder than expected, but I'm getting the hang of it. I'm just really bad at multitasking.
Because then you could like, I know that you couldn't get on a stage in like London and just make a load of poker jokes, but you could kind of test the limits as to what.
Stand-up's just not for me.
It's not, no?
It's just not. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's just not for me.
I hear Joe Stapleton obviously does a lot of stand-up, saying that he thinks everybody at some point should try it, whether they want to do it full-time or whether they want to even tell jokes in any capacity, but like it can be quite humbling to get up there and to just try and make people laugh. For me, stand-up comedy is like my favorite form of entertainment, but not like in big stadiums, like close, like intimate rooms. I think if you get a good comic in there, like the laughs are just like better than anything in the world.
In that 50.
It is good. Raise.
50. 50.
I don't want to make this about Benj in any capacity, but have you ever tried to get him to do stand-up?
I don't know, and I don't. He hates also like making content with me or or even making content in general. He's just not somebody who likes to be funny on purpose.
He just comes very naturally.
Natural, but then the moment you're like, be funny now, he's like, get out of my face. Like, I don't want to talk to you. He doesn't like to be on.
Have you ever run it past him to try and get a podcast going together, or is that just a no?
I've thought about it, and I think it would do well.
I don't mind saying it to you. I say it to him all the time. Like, you're two of the funniest people in poker. So if you got on and just riffed and like had no filter, but had an editor, so that if shit got a little bit too out of line, you could cut it out. I think it would be spectacular, and I think it could be a little bit different, even if it was just like not all poker, right? Like you could have it about life and then mention poker, or you could just have it about poker, but I could see you upsetting a few people if it was just about poker, but I think it'd be great.
It would be inevitable. I go 40.
40.
Go.
Yeah, I just like, I had a podcast for a year and a half, and I'm hesitant to have one again at all. If I ever did, it would be with Spraggy, but it's just, for me, I just feel like you inevitably end up like upsetting people inadvertently, and just, like when petty poker drama happens, right? Like the Jack 4 scandal or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to comment on it.
Of course.
And it's so hard to toe the line and be impartial. And even like I had one with Jamie, and we were so, I would say we were very like professional and impartial and not drama. But even then, it's just like you end up just having to do fucking apology tours, and it's just like.
Could you just take the piss out of everyone and just be completely unapologetic? You know, but like.
Yeah, but like, why? Like what?
But I don't mean like
take
the piss out of everyone, but like just make everything like on the edge, a little bit funny, poke fun
Yeah.
at it. But I don't mean like punching down and being mean.
No, I know, but I just feel like again, like I did, like Jamie's so
No,
like
she's
on
hilarious.
par with Spragg. He is like one of the funniest people in poker and sweet
She
and not
might be
mean.
one of the best follows on poker Twitter.
Great, great tweeter. Whose action is it, by the way?
No rush.
110.
Do you think she pretended she didn't know it was on her? It's this whole party act. Oh, my hand's not that big. I'm not really paying attention.
Think of.
Who do you think are the best poker Twitter followers? Like, who are the best people to follow on Twitter?
Ooh, okay.
I'm all in.
You know,
Jack high fold.
I had it. Well, kind of. Yeah, who are the best people to follow? Not for like fucking poker updates or whatever. Like, who are your favorite people?
I'm trying to think.
I seen you retweeting Jaffe quite a lot.
I like Jaffe. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's great.
He has a very. Do you know what? Actually, you have a very, I would say, UK sense of humor for
I
an
do,
American.
yeah.
And I think he does as well.
He
Like,
does.
the self-deprecating, like, kind of more dry wit. Like, Americans can be very, very funny, but I feel like it's more in your face and aggressive funny. You know?
My biggest pet peeve with content, and Americans do this, is just like
Right.
telegraphing that they're in, when they're in on the joke.
Yeah.
Do you mean like I know this is so funny, and I want to tell you like how funny this is? It's like,
It
dude,
reminds me of when your skit that you done very recently, like when you do something good in poker, or is it when you bluff? What was it? Was it when you do something good in poker or when you bluff? And it's like, I'm so good at this. Do you not remember?
yeah. That it was that CBS voiceover. It was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I am really proud of myself.
Yeah, exactly that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
It's and I feel kind of, I just like don't like that.
Did you have UK influence in your life somewhere along the line before you were like part of the poker world, or is it just some people have it, some people don't over in America? Because I don't want to generalize too much. I know before the Americans get mad at me, I know some of you can take a joke, like at least
Oh no,
like 5%.
I mean Will doesn't do that, and you know a lot of people don't do that. But,
Yeah. No, he's great.
But yeah, in general, we do it more, which is annoying.
Having lived, mentioning the UK and then mentioning America, having lived in some of the most famous places in the world, New York, Vegas, and now the Stroud/Tepri area, like which would be in if that list of three, which way would you rank them?
Stroud, Vegas, and what was the last one?
New York. You lived in New York, right?
Yeah.
Check.
good job.
I mean, I would say New York. I would say, it's just so, they're just all so great. They were perfect for that period of my life. I would say New York.
Good job.
New York is absolutely magic. You kind of had your first proper time with Benj in New York as well, right?
60.
It's a beautiful. I love it.
Yeah,
so
I love
much.
New York. I would say New York's the best, then Stroud, then Vegas. But that makes it sound like I hate Vegas, but I don't.
No, they're like three of the best places you've ever lived, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you? Is there anything in particular you miss about being in America? Because obviously Vegas to the southwest of England is a monstrous change.
It is, yeah. I mean,
Like you went from posting pictures of you on the strip playing poker to like you're walking down the road and you got cows as your neighbors.
yeah.
It's a big change. Timmy, man, it's a big change. You're allowed to laugh. As long as you're not laughing at me.
Yeah, I don't know. I love both,
Cool.
but
Bingo.
40.
There is 40.
Cool.
Bingo.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're just like totally different places. I like America's so aggro. It's just such an aggro place to be in every sense of the word.
New York is crazy.
Yeah.
Like-
Everything's and American people that are just like aggro, like everything is bigger and better and the food is massive portions and the people are crazy and they're just like check.
Check.
Good job.
I found when we were in New York, when the first time we went together, a bunch of our friends were living there.
50.
But like, they're all 22, 23, and they were just like working 3 or 4 jobs
Yeah.
just so they could live in the city. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they'd come meet you for a drink in between jobs, and they'd be like, I've got 4 minutes. Down
Yeah.
this point, I got to get to my next job. And like, I love New York so much, but I've only ever visited New York for max 10 days. And I wonder if I was there for longer, would I actually want to be there? Because it is absolutely insane.
It is. All in.
I'm going to pay you off, Miles. I got a jack.
I have ace king.
That is good. That is good. Nice hand, Miles.
Spicy turn.
50.
Right back in it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about heads up. I don't know if I can fold a river.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm so distracted. I'm so bad at multitasking. I'm just clicking random buttons. But no, I mean, they're all just good for that part of my life. And New York is the best, but it's, like you said, there's something about the energy that just makes you want to hustle.
There is energy in, like, because when people ask me what I love about New York, but like the energy there actually is like palpable. Like everybody is rushing around constantly, and like that thing about being bigger, better. I feel it in New York. I don't feel it anywhere else in the world that way.
No.
Like at all. I check.
It makes you like hungry.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be, because if you want to live there, you got to be rich as fuck.
Rich as fuck.
Check.
Yeah. I mean, I went to school there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Like as a 12 to 18-year-old kind of a school?
No, college.
Oh, college. Was that acting school?
So I went to a regular university for 2 years, studied marketing, just didn't know what I wanted to do, and dropped out. And then I went to an acting school for 2 years.
Okay. And were you playing poker at all at that stage?
I always like knew how to. I went to Vegas for my 21st birthday with my dad.
That's so cute.
That
is like every American though, right? Like,
huh?
don't they all go to Mexico or Vegas for the 21st?
To drink and party, not to play poker.
Okay,
like,
so you went and played poker?
Oh, I was there to grind.
Were you in the 1-2 games or the 2-5? Were you big time balling at that age?
I won $1,000 on the slot machine.
Did you actually?
Yes.
I've seen Benjamin, your husband, playing the slot machines, and I just don't get it.
I hate slots now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, raise.
I've always hated them. I just was sitting there waiting for my dad, who was doing. I sat there, put $5 and just like.
That must have been incredible.
And then I chopped the Bellagio daily.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I forget for how much, but it was like insane. So I was hooked, obviously.
25.
Check. Fold. Wow.
That was quite a good flop.
Decent flop.
So did you grow up watching any of the poker content that was around at that time? Like, did you love any of the old school regs?
Yeah. No, I loved it. I remember just like sitting in my room too, even when I lived in Vegas, and just watching old, even EPT footage or just tournament footage, and
was there
loving it.
Anyone in particular that you liked?
I mean, just like D-Negs, you really can't talk about anybody else but D-Negs. He's just such an, I mean, you know, he's...
We had a social media platform called Bebo
Yeah.
in Ireland. It was like pre-Facebook or whatever. And you could put a little video of like what shows your personality the best. And mine was just that video of D-Negs making all those super sick calls in the WSOP where he just called out the hand. Now,
Yeah.
you don't see the unedited version where Mr. Negreanu probably called out every single hand all summer and got like 6 right. But I was like, this man is a god. I was like 14. Couldn't get enough of it. So was there any women that broke through from that era? I'm not sure, because I was just thinking like...
Sorry, it made me think of a good video idea. It's like when you think you're Daniel and you're like, you have ace jack of hearts, and then it's like 7-4 off. You're like, nope. And you have sevens, and you're just like calling it and you're just wrong every time.
But then if
you keep trying.
If you don't like 25, maybe 25 a bit much, but if you don't like 10 of them, and then like on the 11th they get it right, and it's like, oh my god, I am a genius.
Yes.
25.
Yes, kid poker strikes again.
So this is exactly your creative process, is it?
Yeah, like literally, and I'm just like, oh, that'd be funny. And sometimes it's fucking not funny, and it sucks. But
that sounds good to me, though. I don't know if as Stars Pros, if we're even allowed to say the D word.
Oh yeah.
20.
He's definitely. I think he would even admit himself. He's become a bit of a controversial figure. You know, in some senses.
I think he does it on purpose on Twitter, though. Like, because it's great for interaction. Like, he asks very, very provoking questions.
And everywhere, even his Twitch streams, like...
I watched him peeing on his Twitch stream. The first time I ever watched a stream, he just brought his laptop into the toilet, took a piss. Do you...
But what I was going to say is, you know, he's controversial, but like... no one can deny that he's
money.
I mean, I know so many people that got into poker because of him. Because they saw him do something.
I had a Romanian friend
crazy.
in Malta. And like every single time I was traveling, Marle, look at this for a flop.
Oh my God!
What?
And like King High, thank God.
Every time I traveled to a poker tournament, and this was before I was sponsored by Stars, so I'd never met Daniel. I had no way to access Daniel. He was like, "Can you just try get me a picture with Negranu?" I was like, "Dude, I'm going to play a 1K UK."
Who said this?
I had a Romanian friend in Malta.
Friend. Yeah.
And he would always ask me, he's like, "Can you just get me a picture with Daniel?" I'm like, "Dude, why do you want me to get you a picture with Daniel?" And he's like, "Just get me a picture of him." I'm like, "He's not going to be there." You mentioned Twitter briefly. You used to battle on Twitter a lot more.
That's one word for it.
Do you ever miss battling on Twitter, or are you happy that you've put that behind you a little bit? Like,
Again, I guess I'm just like, I just think of like the upside now. Like I'm definitely, there's gonna be a time, where I'm gonna pick a battle, and I'm willing to die on a hill, and I'm willing to get involved.
You don't want to die on silly hills.
Right. It just has to be worth it. And that's what I'm talking about the podcast stuff too, is like, yes,
Sorry.
people are gonna be mad no matter what, and yes, who cares? But is it worth bringing yourself stress? Like it is still some stress to have to deal with that back. You know what I mean? Constant people getting mad about things.
It's kind of sad in a way that you would never intentionally go out to upset anyone, but because of the fear,
right? And that's
that
why
it stops you doing it. It's kind of sad.
It is sad. It is sad. But again, it's more like, is it worth it to me? And I think, like,
I'm making a pair every hand here, Miles. Like
I had a tray.
It's a little bit unreasonable.
Oh shit.
I'm just making a pair every single hand. That's how you win heads of poker, though.
Yeah. It's just like, is it worth it? And what's the upside? And to me, like if I wanted to like make a video, I've made videos about like some very controversial hot button topics, a lot of them.
When you say video, do you mean a skit where you poke fun?
A skit.
Yeah. Okay.
But even so, like they're controversial and they whatever. But I really put thought into the idea. I think it's an important subject matter. I fold. It's so bad. And to me, that's like, I'm intentional about it. And if people want to come at me for it, then I feel like it's worth dying for. But just snapping back at a random, like, I'm not going to name names, but a random person on Twitter on a whim, when I'm tilted one day over whatever, some silly political issue, or not even political, poker issue.
The thing is, though,
like,
as well,
who cares,
I think not just for like dealing with like having to apologize and upsetting people, but like I think if you get into a mindset, Riz, where every time something that slightly bothers you on Twitter, like you're like, I'm gonna snap back. All in?
I have it.
Do you? I can get there.
Yeah.
Do you have more than I thought you did? I thought you had like 25 bigs. So I could be in trouble here. Oh.
That's okay.
That's a lot of chips I put in with ace high.
Damn it! Damn it!
That was well played by me. I want it on record that Marles told me she had 25 bigs before the hand started. Unlucky Marles. I know from reading your tweets that sometimes you don't enjoy. That's the only venting I see you do these days. Like I feel like everything else it's like kept in. But when you bust a tournament, you do not seem to particularly enjoy it sometimes, especially at live poker. So like, will I be able to get under your skin and tilt you if I like do that once or twice more, or does it not get you that much?
No, I mean it's just tournaments, dude. Cash games don't tilt me as much because you can always reload almost.
Okay.
I mean honestly, you can always reload because even in Vegas, there's always another game somewhere.
Yeah, true.
And that's why tournaments are so tilting because bubbling a tournament, even if it's a 200 bucker satellite, if I bubble, don't talk to me. I'm so out of my mind. I hate bubbling so much. And I had some sessions with BBZ Jordan, and he was actually, like, you should be bubbling, like, more often than you think, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Jordan, I don't want to
can't
hear
take
it.
it.
Go.
You should actually be 3-betting more on the bubble because it's okay if you bubble. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Jordan's not far off an AI.
By the way, I'm sorry, that was like a really bad impression.
What? No, it's fine.
But he's an intense guy. He's an intense guy. Brilliant man.
In a list of people that I owe the most to in poker, the top two easily are Tonka P, aka Parker Tablet, by a long way. He backed me many moons ago and coached me. And then it's Jordan. Like Jordan brought me from like very, very weak reg to, I obviously ran well during the lockdown, but to like winning so much compared to what I did before. He's an intense man, but he's a very intelligent man. And like, he really wants for you to get better. And like, he just won't accept when you're like, I don't like bubbling. He's like, yeah, that's not an answer. Fuck you. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, and you're gonna stop doing that, and you're gonna make more money. Like I'm not saying ICM's for poor people, but I used to disregard it quite a lot. And
I used to play only chip EV. I found out at the WSOP Ladies event playing pure chip EV.
So I wouldn't say that I played like pure chip EV because like I was aware that like I could be real naughty when I had a big stack and put a lot of pressure on. But I had a disregard for like.
You didn't like it when you.
When I was a middling stack, I was like, "Oh, you think you're going to put pressure on me?"
You chose to forget it.
I don't know what ICM is. Raise.
Yeah.
And
Convenient.
Jordan like really bedded into me over many, many sessions that I don't get to just ignore it that way. And I started making a lot more money when I finally gave in and listened to the AI. Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah.
I bet.
He is
20.
really, he's a bot.
I've had top pair minimum every hand, Marles. And then when I 4-bet riff, what was it, 21 bigs? It definitely wasn't like 40. It definitely wasn't 40. Do you study with just Jordan, or like would you and Benj, or do you look for help elsewhere? Like I don't like studying with anyone. I prefer to do everything alone. I'm an only child.
Really?
You're an only child as well, right?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
I just don't like anyone involved when I'm doing it. But I guess living with Spragg, you know, if Hannah, my wife, was a poker player, it might be different. Do you guys ever work together for that kind of thing?
No, I mean obviously we talk a lot of poker inevitably, but from formal studying, I can't learn from him.
Okay. Is it because he's not good enough? Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot to learn.
Right, it's 100.
But no, I did some sessions with Jordan and then Tonka. We did some sessions together. I'm watching the Pondity PKO course.
I love Pondity.
He's so great, and he's such a genius.
I did an online interview with him once upon a time, and the way he thinks about poker, there's a couple of people I've talked to about poker, and when they talk poker, I'm like, oh, I'm so bad. And Pondity is one of those people.
Yeah,
I
it's
bet.
like he's on a whole another playing field.
This is actually the most serious question that I'm going to ask the whole session, because this is a very common thing that I see all the time. But why do all women love Parker so much? Like, what is it? Like, Hannah loves him. My wife, one of my very good friends, Josh, loves him. It's always Parker. Like, he just seems to.
He's a great dude. He's a great guy. What do you mean?
Because I don't know. It's just like everyone, like, straight away.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet.
I don't know.
Because I remember when you guys were in New York very early on in your relationship, like it felt like Benj was the one third wheeling. Like it didn't feel like Parker was third wheeling.
Yeah, we got along right away. He's just
I'm all in.
a warm individual, I call.
I've got flush, Marles.
Oh, you suckered
I've
me in,
got
and then
a
I got
flush.
there.
Don't worry, Marles. We got chips. You can reload.
I'm making it for Benj.
You don't have to. Look, I've got pretty lucky, to be fair. I told you I was making minimum top pair every single hand.
Tonks, yeah. No, he's just the best. He's just got a warm energy, I think.
No, he is. I just asked because it was my wife's 30th a few days ago, and our friend was here who, the couple are also poker players, and she was watching Parker when he won. Well, he won a W cube, a big W cube.
10K. The 10K.
The 10K. He won the 10K, and Hannah, my wife again, never watches me play poker ever. And when we were in Barcelona, Parker got second in a 1K, and I was just getting ready to go to the poker room, and from my bedroom, all I hear is, no! no, like screaming. No matter how much money I'm playing for,
Yeah.
Hannah will not watch my stream. like, she will not watch my stream.
Love
so
that.
basically, the reason I put you on the spot with that question about Parker, it was more an insecurity on my part as to why my wife will she watches Parker cards down at venues and is like cheering for him, but she won't watch me playing for any amount of money.
I'll always root for Parker.
Raise.
Team-based fan.
Yeah, same. My favorite streamers Arlie, him, and then Spraggy.
I think that Parker is
He's a great
probably the best to ever do it in Twitch poker. Obviously, there's great candidates,
Yeah.
Benj, Lex, few that came before, but for me, Parker was the best.
Yeah, full. Yeah, he's definitely great. He's a good teacher too.
He's an incredible teacher. Sometimes it's funny watching him teach. By the way, I flopped top two just to tell you how hot we are running right now. Sorry, I bluffed you once, and I think the rest I've just had the nuts. So don't feel too bad about getting absolutely
Live poker for you.
Yeah. Another thing that I saw when I was scrolling through your Twitter, your Instagram got banned. Your Twitter, for some reason, there wasn't tweets there beyond like 2 years ago. So I was trying to like find like some old bits that I might be able to find, but I couldn't find that. But one good thing I've seen is that this Friday will be the anniversary, 6 months since you stopped drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
And you said in the tweet that when you're in social situations, like that's the one part that you still struggle with. But do you reckon the reason you've been able to be so much more creative is because you're not drinking alcohol, and the reason why you're able to post more regularly? Because when I drink alcohol, if I then try and sit down and write a video, like I basically can't do it for a week. So like if you're just drinking on the weekends
Yeah.
and then sitting down to write, so do you think it's being a positive on that front too? Would you put any of it down to that?
I
Check.
think with anything, this included, it gets harder and then it gets way better.
Okay.
So when I'm 6 months in, and the first, I think it got worse. Everything got harder the first 2 months.
As in social situations or just work?
Everything,
Yeah.
creativity, because it's just like a way of, it was just a way of coping, right? So, not that I drink all the time,
No,
but
I understand. Just that it was like if you were feeling a little bit off, it was just a little escape.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
have a glass of wine at the end of
Yeah,
the
I
day.
mean, like we still
take
do
the
that,
edge off, you know. And basically, I just
Raise.
with content and everything, you know, all the rejection, all of second guessing, all the imposter syndrome, all those kind of negative anxious thoughts
Amplified.
were amplified because I just had no choice but to like just deal with them.
Okay.
So it did get worse, but now it's a lot better, right? Because alcohol just makes it worse in the long run, really.
Yeah. You know, every time if I'm hungover,
But
like playing poker, making content, anything, I'm shockingly bad at it.
yeah,
125.
I feel like I can fold.
Miles, honestly, it's a little bit out of control at this point. Like I just, I've gave out to Tibby every time he's come. Because
I know why you hired this guy.
you should see how
So
quick he
it's
deals. You
going
should see how
on.
quick he deals off the bottom of the deck. We were on a couple of trips together. We were in Barcelona together and we were in Brighton together. But you would travel down to London,
Yeah.
scooped up your second PokerStars ladies event.
Yay!
Do you feel, because you've talked a lot about not wanting to upset people in the poker world with a podcast or on Twitter, and at this point you're one of the most famous female poker players in the world,
Oh,
right?
thank you.
Definitely one of the most recognizable. No, that's like, you know, you just are. So like, do you feel any pressure as, I wouldn't say like the face of women's poker, but like as one of the big voices in women's poker? Like, do you worry about that side or do you just not think about it? Check.
Like being a good role model in that.
Not being a good role model, but like, I guess to a degree, possibly. Like, but I'm not talking about like being a good role model for potentially up and coming players. I just mean like not upsetting the status quo, like the people in there. Like, do you worry about that? Because when you were making the original vlogs, I was watching a lot of content around that time, and there was a lot of voices that were women's voices. Thought that
Yeah.
you were being demeaning towards women, but you're
Yeah.
obviously clearly not. Like, you were like taking the absolute piss out of what people think of women and like highlighting it in a very funny way. But was that one of the reasons at all that like stopped that, or like do you feel that pressure to this day, or not really?
It's not really so much pressure. It's just like I don't really care.
Right.
I don't really.
You guys funny.
Because back then, again, like you said, I would battle people on Twitter, and then I made like videos explaining what I meant, not apologizing, but being like this, back and forth with people, and just like so much time and energy, and they never change their mind, and it's just, again, it's like I don't really care if they're upset. It's not worth my energy. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, but as far as women in poker, I just feel like I don't particularly feel some sort of calling to like dedicate all my time to like some women do in poker.
Yeah, of course.
To
Grow the game.
Grow the game for women specifically.
And be the face of growing the game.
Yeah, and I would never consider myself like.
I'm not saying you're the
that.
face. I'm just saying that like
Yeah.
you're not attempting to be. is
No,
what I mean.
that's
Check.
not my main thing. I will say with my like DMs or anybody in the last 5 years especially, anybody who DMs me who's a woman or asks me for advice and with their game or with content, I always respond to women, and I always will like talk to them or do whatever, I can to help them, check. And yeah, I don't know. I just think, I call.
I have 8 high.
I have a queen.
Nice hand. I couldn't keep getting top pair.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You can't have top pair again. It's a very big bet.
Nice call.
I guess I'm more, what would you call it? Like a silent advocate in the sense, like I said, like I'll always retweet them if they make content or, give them, amplify their voice.
I think it's a nice way to be. Like you don't have to shout from the rooftops that you're doing a good thing, and you can still do a good thing.
Exactly. Like that's kind of my strategy or the way I do it.
I'm not trying to was it Sean Deeb who sat in the women's tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to Sean Deeb it up and say I would love to sit in it, but
Yeah.
the vibe in the women's tournaments is always immaculate. Like you just have a glass of champagne. I know you won't be having that at the moment. Everyone's been very chatty. I think if a lot of the guys took a leaf out of that book and made it more welcoming to new poker players in general, we could just have more people that like have an amazing experience. I don't mean like at like the WSOP like main event or at like the EPT mains, but like at the UK IPTs, there could be a little bit more of a friendly atmosphere sometimes, and it would just like be great for everyone. So I think there's some good things happening there.
People could do a better job, but honestly, I mean, again, it's hard for me to judge because I think people always ask me like, do you get harassed or do you get shit at the table? And frankly, I really don't. At this point, I have a lot in the past. I really don't get that anymore.
And do you think that's it's getting better, or people know who you are more and they're like, she's going to call me on Twitter and I'm not fucking with this?
Well, that's not the case because I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, but you would if you had to, like you said, right?
Yeah, I would if I had to.
They know you've got it in the locker.
I'm just like, I think I'm a less of an easy target though.
Yeah.
If you're going to like harass somebody or be a dick, I can swear right.
Yeah, of course.
If you're going to be a dick to somebody, I'm probably less of an easy target than maybe someone who's a bit newer. So I probably get it on average less.
Yeah, I seen you talking about it on the Only Friends a little bit, where Melissa was saying,
Okay, yeah.
you just stand up for yourself once. You just like basically say fuck you, and like people will back down real quick.
I mean, I haven't had a problem in years. I did have a couple incidents early on, in lower stakes mostly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the EPTs are pretty welcoming, from my experience, which is a small sample size.
Yeah.
But it is so hard for anybody to play live poker for the first time. I know some guys too who say that they don't play live because they're just like intimidated.
Yeah.
It's hard to sit down at a live poker table in a casino for the first time, and just little things like when the action's on you,
How
what
to
are the chip
hold your
denominations?
chips, how to bet.
Yeah, it's just intimidating, and even more so for women.
Raise.
Even more so
I said
for
raise. Do I have to raise? Is that the rule?
No, yes, you have to.
I fold. Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Juice.
Hannah's been playing a little bit when she's gone to the events, and like everyone's obviously been incredibly nice to her. But I do think like when you sit down in like those small little areas, like it's very unlikely anyone would be rude. Hannah slow rolled someone at her first cash game. She had
Intentionally or
no,
Whoa.
no, it wasn't Parker. Some guy in a real cash game you slow rolled.
Oh, yeah.
He came into my stream the other day.
He's mine.
Oh yeah, he was a policeman. I feel like
Intentional or you just
No.
Oh God, no.
no?
Didn't have a clue what I was doing.
right, 25.
Full base time.
That's okay then.
Do you have obviously you went out to Vegas this summer and you've been traveling EPTs. I know this is like you would take either, but being American, like would there be a part of you that would prefer win a bracelet than win an EPT, or like which way would that go for you? Obviously both are amazing. Like I know you're not turning your
Both are
nose up at
amazing.
either.
Full base time.
Both are amazing. It's hard to. I mean, yeah. I guess. Yeah, just any main event. I think.
Oh,
EPT main or WSOP main would be.
oh, that's not close. Like that's
That's like it.
just
for
money.
me.
Just money. Yeah. I've never really even had. I've never really had a deep run in anything big live ever. So like I've never even got close to it. And I've not played. I've only played about 30 live tournaments, which is
Right.
crazy. I'm trying to up it a little bit. Gonna go UKPT Nottingham, UKPT Edinburgh, and Prague. You're obviously going Cyprus, play a few tournaments.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy to me how like I was playing 2Ks in Barcelona, and they were playing like I don't know, like a $50 tournament online maybe. Like it was pretty crazy to me
Lots of
how
action.
soft it was. I raise 100.
Full
It's
base,
action.
100.
No doubt.
To be fair, as much as I've had a monster hand, you've not folded to me once when I tree bet. I've tried my best. 50.
Full base 50.
Check.
Full check.
130.
Marle bet 130.
I call.
Full call.
Check.
Full check.
All in.
Marle rolling.
Do you have 4-5 suited Marles? Did you wink at me? Was that a tell? Oh, if I get bluffed in the biggest spot we've played, I don't know if I can handle it.
Yeah, 2 queens.
No, but it's not any different. Oh. Tibby, would you call? Tibby's so professional. Like I try to get him involved, and he just can't possibly do it. I've never tanked on a single decision playing on this table. I fold, Miles. I fold.
Full call.
Did you bluff me?
You did a Negreanu.
Did you do the 4-5 suited? No! No!
You checks.
No!
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sad.
How did you do it?
Your little heart must have jumped when I asked did you have 4-5
I was
suited.
like, oh shit, he did.
Oh
He
my
Negreanu'd
God.
me.
Do you know what? One time I actually called Benja's hand, and we were in a big pot, and it was prior, it was like in the warm up, and Hannah just goes like and laughs. So I was like, I call, and I was like, Hannah, you cannot do that again. Like if she had a laugh there when I said 4-5 suited.
A chuckle almost came out.
Oh, when you said did you have 2 queens, I thought you were trying to get me to fold. I'm so sad. If I had said did you 4-5 suited and called, I would have looked unbelievable.
You would have.
Oh my god!
That
I'm
was a
so,
true
I
Negreanu
can't
moment.
concentrate. 25.
Full base 20.
Oh my god!
I'm battling back, baby.
Oh my god! I'm utterly heartbroken.
What were we talking about?
I can't remember,
Okay.
Miles. It's gone.
Sorry.
Nah, we were just talking about WSOP versus EPT.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Just like anything. It just.
do you sink more of your time these days into trying to get better at poker or trying to make better poker content? Or say Ty getting better at poker and playing poker together, like.
No, I would say 70-30 poker content to try to
Yeah.
get better. I just like sometimes I just think to myself like, why? Maybe I'll just like
Go.
stop really studying or trying to work on my game and just kind of focus on creative stuff.
Full check. Marle bet 15.
And
Fold.
because that's really like probably the best use of my time. But
But if you're going to be traveling to all these live stops and like at the moment,
I hate
live,
sucking. I hate it. You know.
not only do you not want to suck, obviously everyone wants to be good at what they do, particularly you, given
Yeah.
everything you've said about like the way your mind works. But also, the games in live poker are so good right now that it's a very good opportunity that if you're going to be there anyway for content creation and you've got a lot of live experience, like getting better and getting good and putting yourself in big spots,
Yeah.
like I think it makes sense personally.
Here's the thing too: is that what's
Race.
and I think this is. I think this is like I don't know, I've done some therapy about this. I think part of the reason why busting tournaments tilt me so much is because having a deep run in a tournament, like I won the ladies event, and like people, it's like one of my most engaged with tweets ever.
Okay.
South Point, same like, and that was I won what 10 buy-ins, like that was nothing.
So
Winning
if you have,
it's just like the amount of content and
the amount of
growth.
likes that you're going to get on Instagram,
No, it's
the
not
amount
even-
of times you're going to get a dopamine hit.
Well, not just that, but like just like even the long
No,
term
for growth.
effects.
No. I'm kind of being a little bit like,
You know,
rude.
it's just like it's.
Yeah, no.
I could make 100 like viral videos, and it's still not as good as just winning a tournament.
yeah.
So
I've not experienced it live, but when I went on a heater online, like which just lasted a few years, every YouTube video I put up that was like getting bigger and bigger results, like the numbers were just, it was just like number gets bigger,
Yeah.
and it like, you know, got like quite addictive, and then like that would cycle into me just like studying so much because I just wanted to keep getting bigger and bigger, and then unfortunately, lockdown was obviously absolutely horrendous, but unfortunately, like the numbers got a lot smaller. So like then I just saw the number getting a bit smaller, and I was like, I don't like that I can't control that element of content creation. It's like if my results, if I'm not winning as much on a daily, weekly basis, like I'm just not going to get as many views. Like I really didn't like that, particularly as like the games got a little bit smaller. So that's why like I've been trying to make some other stuff, like obviously not to the level of you or anything, but race. But this is why we're doing stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about like content and creativity is like it's in my control. Like I can control if it goes viral or if people like it.
Yeah, of
but I
course.
can control
The consistency, how often
thinking
you
of
do
an
it.
idea, showing up, turning my camera on, making something, and putting it out there. Like I can control that, and I can do that, and I will get better if I keep doing it.
Yeah.
I can't control, and again, like especially live tournaments, you know, I play such a small sample
Oh, sorry.
that I may never win a major live main
Yeah,
event.
I know. You
Do you know what I mean? It's just so
when you
stupid.
Because you say that, and obviously very recently you posted a clip of you as like a whatever 80-year-old woman being like, I finally have like hit my EV, or are some of them, because like that sounds like a true sore point when you say it out loud. So like with some of your like videos, like they're from the heart, like it's not just trying to always appeal to people, but it's like truly what you're feeling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Raise.
Well, again, like that video sort of came to me, raise 100.
Raise 100.
That video sort of came to me, the genesis of that was I saw the old person filter, and my first thought was, that's me when I finally fucking realized my edge,
Right.
you know?
Raise 225.
First 4-bet pot ever on this table, I think.
Okay. Dim the lights. Jeff Flat. Check.
50.
Think about 50.
Oh my god, if I lose this pot, I think I've got less chips than you.
100?
Sorry, I bet 50 on the flop.
Yeah.
Alright, check.
150.
You win.
150 and 4.
I got a bluff true, Miles. I got a
Nice.
bluff true.
You might have the best hand.
Maybe then. I had king high. So
Oh
maybe.
no.
Maybe.
They ripped it in your eye. Ace 4 suited.
We were talking about the clip where.
Oh, the old person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw the old person filter, and my first thought was, that's me when I finally realized my edge, you know? And so it's kind of like, you know, that was like the first thing that comes to mind when I see that. So it's personal.
Do you still, again, one thing that I asked you about the sitcom earlier on, but another thing that you mentioned quite a lot in the podcast that I watched was at some point you would like to branch out and not only make poker content. Is that still on your mind at all, or is it just like you're so in the I'm gonna make poker content every day that like it's not really just something that you consider at the moment, you know?
It is something that I want to do. I guess like I said, I was like kind of when I stopped drinking, and then I was like kind of really in my head.
Yeah.
I think also like moving to England and stuff. I was just like for a minute there, I was just like, whoa, like
I mean, it's a crazy big move.
yeah, it was
like
a
it just is for
crazy-
anybody, you know.
Yeah.
Like I think coming from Dublin in the city centre to moving over to living with all
Check.
the country people where Spragg is, I would be a little bit in shock. Whereas you went from like New York to Vegas to the countryside.
Yeah.
25.
In that 25.
It's a little milker. Speaking of the cows in the countryside.
150.
Yes, 150.
I failed. Did you rebluff me? You were good. Did I give it away with my milker chat? Was that what it was?
But yeah, but I guess like when it's poker content's obviously a lot easier for me to do. So when I came back, I just try to make it easy for myself. So once I built up some momentum, I think with these daily videos, I like to just like insert like the occasional non-poker one there.
Yeah.
And then I build that
But
more
on
and
the
more.
same audience, like keep it all the same.
In the same account.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Race.
That's 25.
When I found that tweet of you talking about your goals from last year, which was the 50 videos, it was very clearly defined like what you had goals, and we're obviously nearly at the end of this year. Do you have anything that you can think of off the top of your head that's a big goal for next year, or like is it just keep more of the same? Like if you post on a daily basis, like
Yeah. And I think that's what's hard for me is like I don't, and I've tried to work through it with like in therapy too of
check.
Fin check.
a specific like I want to have this, like
Fin check.
I have 6.
Fin check. I have 6.
that's good. But I don't really have that. I guess I just want to make good shit. My goal is to like my dream is to just like make consistently good stuff that I like, and not be so anxious about it, and just be able to just like churn it out and not care. Which I'm like on the path to now.
I think with what you do, it's going to be very, very hard to not have imposter syndrome and not have
Yeah.
anxiety. Because the reason why is because you're not copying anyone, right? Like you mentioned earlier on that you don't care what Bradon's doing, you don't care what Spraggy's doing. You're just doing
Yeah.
you're doing your own thing, and there's no one to copy off. Whereas, say you were copying Brad, you could be like, you could look at his video, you could look at your video and be like, do you know what? That's pretty goddamn good. I'm pretty close to it. Like I've got like a template here of what works. Whereas you're constantly going to be putting out shit that no one else is putting out, and hoping that it bangs and resonates. And I think
It's personal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing is like it
Check.
feels like it feels like when I make something,
I got 15.
it's like it sounds really kind of stupid, but it's like it really is just like a personal
I don't
expression
think that's stupid at all. Like
of
that's
my point of view, you know. And so I guess that's when it gets rejected. It's not just I didn't just like copy and paste some formula. This is like how I see the world, and so that's why it feels so intense, I guess. Maybe.
I like I'm not trying to like oh you can never be anxious free. I'm not trying to say that to you. I just think when you're trying
Yeah.
new stuff all the time, it might be hard, right?
Fin raise.
Because you're not going to know, right? Because it's new all the time. So you're not really going to know. You might find some like kind of templates. You had Marnie, I believe. Was her
Yeah,
name?
I did
Like
Marnie
you had
sometimes.
you had a
Yeah.
character. Maybe there'll be more characters at some point. Is accent something that you would like to do more of? Or
No.
was it just because it was like you were like kind of it was like your not your alter ego, but like a woman in the UK? I'm not
Yeah.
really articulating myself very well here. but-
Yeah, it was more just
Check.
being in the UK, and it was like a thing. I'm like Caitlin Comiskey is like amazing at.
She's very good.
She's like a character actor and great at accents and playing parts. I'm not
Marle back. 25.
particularly
Fold an
good
ace-
at that
fold an ace high.
doing that.
Just
But
keeping all the pots small, just trying to lock up my win here.
You are.
Know?
you should.
No, I wouldn't do that. Do you play any cash games at all when you go to the live stops?
No.
Why?
I like don't like. I just like don't like cash.
Just not your
anymore.
vibe anymore. No.
No, I find it even in Vegas, or other places where there's a lot of games going. I just like don't enjoy grinding. I feel with like tournaments, it gives me something to look forward to. I feel like I have.
Yes, 25.
I can get excited about it. I'm like, okay,
100.
this is
Free race 100.
okay, go.
Have you ever folded to a tree bet? Like
No.
just full stop?
I have good hands. 4-5 suited.
50?
You bet 50.
Oh my god, I forgot about the 4-5 suited. Man, I think if I had called the 4-5 suited and actually called the jacks, I think you would have had to leave. Would have been the best.
Yeah, that would have been. That would have been the moment of the whole show.
That could be.
Yeah, I don't like cash anymore. I don't know. I like tournaments.
I love tournaments. I've never liked cash. The one thing that I would enjoy about if I could play cash now would be kind of more flexibility as a dad. Like I could get on, but I wouldn't want to get on and play like 51. And if I got on and played 500 Zoom, I would get murdered on a daily basis. So it's easy to be like, oh, I'd like to do that, but I don't want to put the work in. Race.
Yeah.
I always just found it too boring. I love the story of a tournament, like the beginning, middle, and end. Turning like a small-ish buy-in into like a monstrous amount of money has always been more exciting than like even playing. If I could get the high stakes, like not you were playing 100k or 400k pots at one point. I would obviously enjoy that, but playing like a €1,000 pot a couple of times a day and that like is a good day if you win them. Just not that exciting to me.
I just thought as you were talking, I thought of a little
Check.
comparison of what they both each one feels like to me. Check.
350.
You win.
350.
I know you're bluffing.
I'm not bluffing. I just have a full house, Marles.
Oh my god! I had one of those.
The team of the day. Finton makes a big hand. Marles makes the second best hand, but makes some
king
folds because
high.
Finton's too greedy. What are you going to say? A comparison for tournaments versus
Cash.
Cash.
Yeah. Well, this is how the fun, how it used to be, and why it was fun is, I feel like cash games are kind of like TV shows
Okay.
in that it's like there's a character development over like many like show episodes.
Yeah, like a sitcom almost.
Yeah, whereas like I play with the same people every day, and you go home and you like try to figure out how to battle them, and you come in every day and you try to battle them, and so it kind of develops over time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And a tournament is like a movie, which is like one and done. I'm never gonna really play you again,
Yeah.
and it's a beginning and an end, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Whereas cash games go on forever, and the fun is like you battle the same people every day. You go home at night and you try to figure them out.
I seen you talking about that
Do you know what I mean?
in your vlogs. You were saying that you actually
Yeah.
enjoyed that element back then, but it's kind of switched now. Whereas like you prefer the randomness of the tournaments, the working it out on the spot and stuff. I guess.
It's just different, like, yeah. But I guess for that to be the case, you have to be in one place and play the same game every day.
Yeah.
Like, I played 2-5 with the win every day for, like, endless hours.
Do you think
For
if you
years.
were
And I don't do that
for
anymore.
whatever reason, say like you and Spragg decide to move to Vegas for a couple of years, do you
Mm-hmm.
think you could easily slip back into it, or do you reckon it's just not the stage of your life? Like you're just kind of done with cash games.
I'm done.
You're
yeah,
done. Yeah.
I'm done.
I reckon if I lived like even in London, 25, I would like go play cash a little bit more.
Oh, yeah?
But it's just not a thing in Ireland, you know.
Right.
I try getting spicy. I just can't. I tried. Yeah, no, I think that's why I never got into them. Like, there was one good casino. I know that you deal some cash games, but like, there's not like a huge amount that run in a close proximity, right? Like, you got to travel to different areas to get to one game and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just never really options for me. But I've always preferred tournaments. I was also,
Yeah.
it's just scary playing with real money. I don't know why. It is.
It's just a different, yeah, I mean, I guess that's the whole strategy in cash is like, you just like reload and just start like hammering on people endlessly, you know? Whereas tournaments, you could be more methodical.
You gotta respect the game a little bit more.
You gotta respect the game, man.
I see. Hold on, Tibby. We're just having a little think here, Tibby. Do you know what? I raise. Do you know what? I raise.
You raise 50.
Tibby trying to fold my hand on me. Got a monster over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that true diamonds, Tibby? Just making sure I got 150.
You bet 150.
Just doing a little diamond check. Thought that was an American raise coming where you put them down on the table. I'm all in.
Call.
You know,
Do you have a flush?
No.
I have a 7.
Same. Slow rolling me.
I'm not. I was trying to work. Hold on a second. Have I just given away the win with minutes on the clock? Oh my God, there's 1 minute left. This is the second last hand. Have I just given away the win with 1 minute on the clock, Tibby?
420.
420. Of course it's 420. Oh my God, I've given away the win. Have I? Yeah, I have. It's super close. 500, 575, 600. Oh my God, you're winning. This is the last hand and you're winning. So you can fold and just lock. You can just lock up that win if you want. Last hand, Tibby. I don't believe it.
Cooler.
Especially with the way Tibby tried to fold my fucking hand.
Yeah, wow.
And then I was like, oh, just raise.
You wanted him to. You were dead.
Oh my God. Tibby saw that you had the best hand. I raise.
I gotta give you action.
Oh my God. It's super close, by the way. You might have just given me the win with that 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you should fight for your life for this ball, okay? You want to make sure you put in at least, I'd say, about 125 more.
I forgot what I had and I'm still calling. Okay.
Okay. 100 to be.
You bet 100.
Oh my God, it's come down to the last hand. Because there genuinely is enough in there. Whoever wins the spot wins. I have a 5.
Me too.
Oh,
I think I win
then. No! No! No!
She's done it!
Marley, thank you very much for coming and making it 2-0 to the Spraggs in Dublin. Tibby, thank you for dealing. I'm a little bit lost for words. I had it locked up with 2 hands to go, and then I just got coolered out of my goddamn mind. Marley, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll do it again sometime, and thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.